We're here at Garden State Tortoise, home to hundreds of turtles and tortoises. Today, we'll be highlighting the most bizarre rescue stories, starting with Rockalina. And here we have Rockalina. She is so cute and actually a lot smaller than I was expecting. After watching the videos, you know, I thought she would be a little bit bigger. So tell me, Chris, what is the Rockalina story?
48 years on somebody's kitchen floor. So in 1977, this little boy found her, I guess, walking through the yard. You know, there were a common occurrence in New Jersey, and he wanted to have her as a pet. He unfortunately was disabled, and the parents, the turtle made him really happy. So they kept the turtle as a pet, but they never gave her the proper care. Instead of setting her up in an enclosure, which I got to go back and say too, it's illegal to take them out of the wild, but they didn't know that at the time. So they tried keeping her as a pet, but instead of setting her up properly, they just put her on the kitchen floor. Ugh. So she lived on essentially tile or linoleum for 48 years, eating cat food, and the only access to water she had was from the cat water dish.
Oh, wow.
So over time, her skin became all crusty and she lost all of her color. Her beak became really badly overgrown. Her nails got all twisted and actually were curling back up into her own arms.
Oh my goodness.
And then back here, if you look at her little special foot we call, this foot was completely crusted over. It looked like a club. And you see how it's like narrow right there? Mm-hmm. It was all like cat hair. It was wrapped around her.
Oh my goodness, poor baby.
Yeah, so when we got her, her eyes were shut too. They had no idea the last time she had her eyes open. So we said, absolutely, we'll take her. At this point, the little boy was a grown man and his parents had passed away. He could not take care of her anymore at all. So we adopted her and we weren't even sure she was gonna make the ride home because she literally looked like she was like mummified. But then we got her home, we put her in warm water, and within just a few minutes, she opened her eyes for what was like the first time in who knows how long. And then that started the whole recovery journey for her.
What a blessing that you did come into her life, because if you guys go back and watch their original video showing what she looked like and then seeing her today, it is crazy that this is honestly even the same tortoise, other than a few of the things like you can tell, you know, by her mouth or her little foot. But like you said, I remember watching that video and seeing how not good she looked and how much better she looks right now, like you said, with the coloring and even her skin.
Yeah, you can see it on her face. Like she's like these markings that were once there that were probably like yellow or orange, you know. They're starting to come back, and some of them are brown. There's a little bit of white there, but even if you look at her legs, she's got like a little bit of a yellow tinge coming in. So, you know, who knows? The other thing too is, you know, we had reshaped her beak. We tried to get it as natural looking as possible, but being that deformed, it was near impossible. So we had a nice sharp point there, but because she's starting to be able to act like a turtle out here and look for food items and stuff, she snapped the end of her beak off, which is why you see that gap there. But don't be alarmed, because it's probably a good thing, because now if you look, she's developing her own point. So the hope is that over time it'll start to look more like what a box turtle's beak is supposed to look like. Absolutely.
Gotta love nature, right?
Oh,
and how that sometimes it is possible for them to heal and to fix things, especially with the proper environment and care.
Sometimes, especially with something like this, you set it up the way it's supposed to be set up, and then you just take a step back, because there's so much that they can do on their own, and that's really beneficial for them. So she gets to be a turtle out here. You know, even in her indoor setting, she can do a lot of the things that she didn't get to do for, you know, almost 5 decades.
That's amazing. And I love the fact that she's just one of a lot of different stories you guys have from rescues, right?
Yeah, we've got some fun stories here.
All right, well, let's see what other kind of rescues these guys have come across.
Oh yeah.
Oh, the tongue. This is good what we're doing here, because you know, some people will see it as she might be struggling a little bit, but you want her to work for the food, because that's what's going to help shape that beak.
Kind of like Chris eating his pie.
Yes. Yes. I've, you know,
you had that smile.
I did. I did. I got so excited because I remembered there's still pie. You know?
So Chris has brought me over to this special pen area that they have for special rescues that you get, right?
Eastern box turtles, similar to Rockalina. Everybody's got their own story. So in here's kind of a smorgasbord of different animals that have come to us through rescue situations, surrenders, confiscations, wildlife confiscations, and they're either sustaining injuries, like this one right here, she's missing her front leg, or this one, which is the result of extremely improper care. So this turtle is, I believe, around 5 years old, and it was raised in a fish tank on dry substrate, improper lighting, fed the wrong things. So it's stunted in size. It's missing its right eye. It's got a you know, the beak is a little bit interesting there, and the shell's misshapen. So we put these animals into a pen like this where they can live as natural a life as possible. We don't know how much time some of these animals have left, you know. A box turtle like this is a common injury that can be seen in wild ones, so we know that they're able to carry forward, you know. And interestingly, a lot of the turtles in this pen are part of what might become a rewilding situation, where we're working with universities and wildlife agencies to test their genetics, test them for diseases. We do that by taking nail clippings from them, sending them off to find out certain things. And then there's other things that they'll do to find out if they're healthy enough to potentially go back to the wild. And what they'll do is they won't just release these turtles into a really healthy existing population. They'll look for an area that's suitable for them and then maybe release them there to see if they take, or to an area where they've been really hit hard, like extirpated, where, you know, close to being extirpated, where there's only a few left. But there's a lot that goes into it. It's not something that happens overnight. So the turtles get to live wild, even though they aren't actually wild right now.
That's great. So obviously with these guys right here, I'm assuming he would potentially have the chance to be rehomed. What about guys like this?
I don't think so.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is something where you're probably giving these guys here just their forever home, as long as that might be, which
Keeping
also,
them comfortable.
yes, which is, I think, amazing, and why it's so important for people to actually know what you're doing and do your research if you're going to get any type of animal, because if you're getting it, you care about it, you want it to be healthy and do good. How terrible is that if you don't know what you're doing and you actually, you know, do more harm than good? That's a huge thing that I think is important for everybody to know, but I think it's amazing that you guys are able to take an animal like that and be able to give it an amazing life after a really bad start.
But this is a common rescue for us here, because what happens is people are driving down the road, they see one crossing the road, they automatically assume, because there's buildings in the area, that the turtle must be lost, when really it's not. They move around, they take it home, and then at that point, a lot of the wildlife agencies and organizations consider them tainted, because if they came anywhere near it in contact with an already captive reptile of any kind, this animal maybe now carries something, and it can't just be released.
And that's a really good knowledge to have as far as that. We get that a lot too. We get people that call us and say, hey, I rescued this red-eared slider, and I'm like, no, you didn't. You took it, and you need to put it back where you found it, because you know, that's not a rescue.
Yeah, and when it comes to box turtles, a lot of people don't realize they have such a small, strong home range that they will forever try to get back home. Not the case with all of them, but a lot of them, they stop feeding. They're not interested in anything else except figuring out how to get back home. So they'll just kind of stare up at the sky and sometimes waste away.
Very interesting.
But there's a lot of them like that. Melissa's got some over here.
Yeah,
I know. I found some
what other ones have you found?
Good rescue stories, probably.
This guy, this is Old Man River right here. He has been through the ringer.
Holy crap! Yeah.
He's missing that arm. He's split here, probably from farm equipment, and he's missing that eye.
Oh my goodness. Poor little guy.
What about something like this?
That's another result of the 10-gallon tanks, you know.
So I'm sorry, but I'm going to even ask, what kind of turtle is this?
Believe it or not, that's an eastern box turtle.
Crazy.
Oh my
gosh.
gosh.
Exact same species.
See, like, I couldn't even tell. That's so crazy. It looks so different. That is very sad.
These two are your prime example of displaced once wild ones that were taken for various reasons. Maybe somebody really thought they were rescuing him because he was so injured. Her story could be that she was crossing the road and somebody saw that she was missing her arm. Or we do have some in here that are amputees, you know, like they were taken by rescues or brought to rescues and a limb was removed to save their lives. But that poor animal is the simple result of just completely improper care that it's unfortunate, but at least he's out here getting to look for worms, and he's got a pond and other turtles like him.
In a safe environment too, so that's awesome.
But I mean, look at that. Its plastron actually comes out longer than its carapace does. You know? So these two turtles are a little bit more similar to Rockalina's situation than that animal is, because a lot of people will ask us, why is Rockalina deformed in terms of her legs and her face, but her shell is so perfect? It's because she was captured as an adult already. So in 1977, because we believe her to be somewhere around 70 years old, which is not old for a box turtle.
Wow.
You know,
Crazy, right?
She attained that normal, natural growth, and you can't manipulate that once it's done and completed. So they captured her as an adult, which is why her shell was never manipulated, except for the fact that she lost color from being indoors the whole time. And that contrasts an animal like that, because
like a baby.
when they're babies, the shell is not hardened yet.
Yep.
So anything about their environment is going to manipulate the way the animal grows. And when they're kept in a completely inadequate situation like that one was, that's why it looks like you're beautiful.
Yes, exactly. This video is brought to you by Raycon. Honestly, I've been using Raycon's Open Essential earbuds every day, and they seamlessly just have slipped into my daily routine. I don't even have to think about them. One of the things I love the most is their secure fit. No matter if I'm working, if I'm running around, or even at the gym, their secure fit makes sure they stay right where they belong in my ears. And what amazes me the most about this open ear design is the fact that it actually sits right outside your ear. That way you get the best of both worlds. You can still hear your music or podcasts, whatever you're listening to, but you can also be aware of your surroundings around you. And the way they have this really cool multi-angular rotating ear hook really makes sure it's secure on my ear. I really like that. Not to mention the multi-point connection. It seamlessly connects between anything that I'm going through, phone, computer, anything I need. And that 36-hour battery life, man, you can't top that. And honestly, the sound quality of these guys rivals the big brands. And you can't beat that because these guys are about half the price. And with a 30-day happiness guarantee, you've got nothing to lose by trying them. And that's why I love my Raycons. And I think if you try them, you're gonna love them too.
If you're looking for earbuds that move with you, whether you're commuting, working, or just living life, the Essential Open Earbuds are the way to go. Click the link in the description box or go to buyraycon.com/BrianBOpen to get 20% off. That's buyraycon.com/BrianBOpen.
So these have a very interesting story. They're box turtles, but they're Mexican box turtles.
Okay.
And you're not supposed to have these. And the reason is because they cannot be legally collected in Mexico and sent anywhere else. There's no legal quota or take on them. But because they're so sought after in the hobby, people unfortunately poach them and try to get top dollar for them. So this particular group of Mexican box turtles was destined for Hong Kong for the illegal black market pet trade. And what happened was somebody in Mexico poached them out of the wild and then threw them in a box and tried to FedEx them to Hong Kong. But because all of those shipments have to go through Memphis no matter what, somehow wildlife officials got word of it and they were confiscated, luckily, at the Memphis hub. They were held at the Memphis Zoo to get all cleaned up, but you know, a lot of these animals don't get to go back to the wild once they've been taken for so many different reasons. Something as simple as a potential disease and cross-contamination. So Mexico doesn't want them back, but it's still illegal for them to go anywhere else. So the Memphis Zoo cleaned them up, sent them to the Turtle Survival Alliance, and because we do a lot with the Turtle Survival Alliance, they asked us to take them. So that's why they live here, and they've bred a little bit.
Really?
Yeah, we have some young from them, and they've actually been really hardy. Of the whole group we got, there's only been one loss, but they're a really rare box turtle that some of you guys may never see before or see again. What's really cool is you're looking at a male and a female. So once the males and the females get to be fully mature, the males get these incredible colors. So they get yellows, whites, blues, reds, and the females stay a more uniform color. So it's kind of similar to birds. It's really cool.
It very much does remind me of birds with that too, and it's funny. I love these guys. They're so cool, and what a cool story about someone doing something they're not supposed to do, but ultimately ends up to where it's awesome. You get to have some really cool animals.
Yeah, and you know, we've also been talking to, at a recent conference, I talked to somebody that's doing work with this species in Mexico. So similar to what we were talking about with the eastern box turtles, there's a hope that maybe their offspring could eventually be returned to the wild.
That's amazing. So I'd say all in all, that's a story that roundabout is a success story.
Yeah, it's like a full circle thing for them, maybe, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah, they're very interesting.
Oh, these guys are gorgeous.
So this is the general.
The general.
Yes, he is probably about now 90 years old.
Wow.
He's a South American yellow-footed tortoise that lived in somebody's basement for 88 years.
Wow.
That's the story, at least.
88 years in the basement,
yeah.
buddy.
He did get some outdoor time. The woman really loved him a lot, but you know, she became ill and she decided she really needed to do better for him. And you know, what's interesting about these animals, I'm not saying to do this, please don't do this, but they're like the animal on the planet that can endure this kind of extended mistreatment, if you will. I'm not trying to be harsh here, but something like a bird or something else is not going to last, you know? But these animals have been virtually unchanged since the time of the dinosaur, and that's because they're able to withstand so much. So again, they don't deserve any kind of mistreatment, and don't ever do that, but that's why we get so many of these stories, you know, 48 years on a kitchen floor, 30 years in somebody's bedroom, 88 years in a basement, you know, it's wild.
Yeah, well, you are adorable. And he's heavy too.
He is.
But how cool is that? I love that story. And you had all of that, and even with love, but now he gets to live his remaining days in this amazing place, loving life out in nature. I'm sure you're so happy. Look at this gorgeous guy I found. That is crazy. You are beautiful. Now, obviously, this has got to be a cherry head tortoise. Chris, who did I find?
That's Reuben.
Reuben. Gosh, that is crazy.
Isn't he awesome?
He is beautiful.
He's a cherry head red-footed tortoise. 50 years with somebody's family.
Really?
It used to be a male and a female. I think they said the female passed away several years ago. He's still going strong. I believe it belonged to the parents, and the one passed away. The other one I think is ill now, and they just wanted to find a better home. But you know, they took really good care of him. His beak's a little bit overgrown, but we literally just got him, so we're letting him settle in, and then we're gonna trim his beak. But really, he's awesome. He's super
my
cool.
goodness.
He looks like Darth Maul.
I know,
Yeah.
right? That's literally what I was thinking.
Yeah.
He is so amazing. All right, so I don't even need my glasses to see this guy.
Yeah.
Holy crap. Give me the story on this beauty.
This is Parker. He just got here from the Be Wild Reptile Rescue. He was found walking around. This is
Really?
a tortoise from Africa. Somebody clearly raised him, and I don't know if they lost him or just ditched him, because that happens, because leopard
Yeah.
tortoises get really big. He's nowhere near done growing. They tried to find a home for him locally. They tried to see if anybody would claim him. Nobody did. So they asked us if we would take him, and we said yes, and he's absolutely gorgeous.
Oh my goodness, I've never seen anything like him. So light, so pretty. Like you said, he looks in really good health, which is nice.
Yeah.
You know, so he probably wasn't out too long, right?
No, whoever was raising him, you know, it's sad. Like, they were doing a good job.
Yeah, that's so
and
crazy.
He's really, even though he's been here a short time, he's such a healthy tortoise. Right now, he's just in quarantine. We're not going to put him with our other leopards just yet to be 100% sure he's healthy.
Oh yeah,
But
for
that's
sure.
a lot of people call these snow leopards because they don't have so many of the black spots or flecks on them. They're just
Okay.
kind of a gold or blonde color, and he's really awesome.
He is gorgeous, and you can already tell he has such a cute little personality.
He does. He's very curious, and he's doing great.
Who is this?
That's Iris. She is a Texas tortoise, which is one of the 5 of the most well-known American tortoise species, and also the smallest. She's full grown, and she was found walking around in Colorado. So if you're a Texas tortoise, you don't come from Colorado.
No, that's a long ways from home.
And it looks like, we're not sure, but it's awfully suspicious. It looks like somebody may have bopped her with a hammer there.
Gosh,
And
that's
because
such
it's unbelievable. People really do those things to these
Yeah.
animals. So she has this gnarly injury that is, luckily for her, has been healed up since we got her. And the Colorado Reptile Rescue asked if we would give her a home, and that was back in 2017, and she's been here ever since.
Oh wow, so yeah, you've been here for quite a while.
She's a real sweetheart. You know, she doesn't bother anybody. She lives by herself, and she couldn't be happier. But she's really cool, and yet another example of like the displacement of these reptiles that it happens everywhere in the world. You know, people pick these animals up, and then they just either let them go or lose them because they didn't set them up properly. They're really intelligent. They're sweethearts, and they're a joy to work with.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I mean, the stories could go any different ways, but it's probably as easy as maybe somebody just in Texas that found it, and then, hey, I'm taking this home to Colorado, and then somehow either lets it loose or it gets out, and this poor thing obviously doesn't know where it is.
Yeah, she's just wandering around there,
Yeah.
and that's not a good environment for them. So she must have been found when it was still warm out. They can take cold to a degree, but you know, it's going to be vastly different where she's from.
Yeah, that's a really good point too, that yes, the temperatures in Texas are very different than Colorado for sure.
A lot more reptiles occur naturally in Texas than they do in Colorado. So she does great here in our climate. You know, we luck out here in South Jersey. It's very tortoise friendly, we say, you know. So she's just living life out here, and she's been rock solid ever since. She's one of those rescues that's just no problems, you know.
That's awesome. So happy for you that you've got the perfect little life here.
Did you get that?
You getting attacked?
I let this get way too overgrown.
And in this pen, we have the most incredible rescue of all. I think I hear him. There he is.
Another crazy story.
All right, who are we looking at here?
This is Liberty. She is a critically endangered Forstens tortoise. Her species only occurs on the island of Sulawesi in Indonesia, where only 2 types of turtles are found. Her and the Sulawesi forest turtle. Somehow, she ended up in New York and was found walking down the street in November.
No kidding. That's crazy.
So the Turtle Rescue of the Hamptons got a call took her in. Nobody claimed her, just like the leopard tortoise. And they asked us if we would take her. So that's why Liberty, we named her Liberty.
Yep,
because
that makes
New York.
sense. What a crazy, I can't even imagine. You wish, at this point, don't you wish you could actually talk to them to be like, okay, girl, tell me what your story is. Like, how did you get here?
What have you seen?
Oh, she's seen some stuff for sure.
But she's doing great. And what was interesting too was, gosh, I think it was maybe only 2 months after we got her last year, she laid an egg.
No way.
And that's because tortoises can lay eggs even without being with a male. The egg was infertile, so it didn't hatch. But we do have a male now that a friend sent to us because it's important that something like this is bred. There's very few of them. They only lay 1, sometimes 2 eggs at a time. And they'll take several months to hatch. So maybe this time around, now that she has a male, but they're also incredibly aggressive. This is probably the world's most aggressive tortoise. They're brutal.
To everything or to each other? Or?
I mean, I've never tried, and I don't know anybody that's actually kept them with another species, but even with their own kind, it's like fly river turtles.
Okay.
They're just brutal to each other.
Just gotta be
So they live in this huge overgrown pen, which is a pain for me, but it's great for them so that they can stay out of each other's way and they don't fight. At least I haven't seen them fight recently, so.
Well, that's crazy and cool. I didn't realize that some tortoise species only had like 1 or 2 eggs.
Yeah, there's, you have something like a diamondback terrapin that'll lay 16 eggs 3 times a year. But then you've got a tortoise that lays maybe twice a year and only 1 egg. And you can see why they're endangered.
Absolutely. Here he is, the star of the show. Andy knows it.
He knows. He's like, oh, did you go see all your cute turtles? Yeah. Welcome to the main event. He knows what he's doing, dude.
I know.
He's like, I don't flinch.
The way he's just like regal about it. Like,
he's like, hold on, get my good side. So here you are, the main event.
The main event, yes. Our beautiful guy here, Otis, who steals the show.
Yep.
He's been waiting for us this whole time, actually, I think.
Come here, pal. There he is. The animal actor, the, I don't know what to call him. What have we done now with him? So we've redone Jurassic Park, Godzilla, The Grinch Who Stole Christmas, and there's one more. Oh, Jaws.
Oh, yes, yeah. Jaws. I can't forget the Jaws.
We did Jaws with him.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
So tell us the story behind Otis.
Like I've said to you before, I wish I knew more about him, but he was literally dumped at the Popcorn Park Animal Refuge, which is a little bit north of here, and we do all the turtle rescue for them. We have for years. And called us one day and just said, hey, we got another box turtle for you. And I said, okay, no problem, because they're like the easiest species for us to take, because we could just set them up out here and they can be left to their own devices. Sure. But they were like, no, you need to meet this guy. And part of it was because he absolutely despises other turtles. He hates them. He will flip any other turtle over, attack them. He's completely fixated on camera lenses, my nose, anything I do.
Well, I know he was trying to eat my shoe earlier too.
I mean, we brought him all the way to AnimalCon.
Yes, that was amazing.
You would think that if you're driving 2,000 miles round trip to bring an animal somewhere that it would shut down. He terrorized my kids the entire drive, wouldn't leave them alone, to the point where they were getting really mad about it. And then I remember we got to AnimalCon, we got to the crib, we got out, walked inside, put him down, and he followed us around. I mean, after being in the car for like 16 hours. This is just the way he is, always. He's always charismatic. He's a little bit aggressive, maybe a lot of it. He just never ever slows down.
Well, I think you might have actually touched on the fact of why maybe somebody did surrender him, because this is not your typical turtle behavior at all. No. And maybe they just couldn't handle all that personality.
Yeah, it's like on one hand, it's like, why would you give up on,
Yep.
But he can be a challenge, and look, he's standing in my hands where most turtles would be uncomfortable, but can I get your attention?
Oh,
yes,
no.
Of course
yes,
I can.
He can. He saw that nose.
Yeah. So he just, see what he does?
He's tracking it.
He follows me.
Oh, he wants it. Look at that mouth is opening.
Yeah.
He's like, I want it.
And, animal behaviorist, nobody can explain why he is this way, but something that's probably worth bringing up, I don't remember who the gentleman's name who did this talk, maybe you remember, and I think it was not this past AnimalCon, but the one before that. He did a whole talk on reptile intelligence. He was talking about how in the wild, certain triggers inside these animals' brains or receptors are turned off in the wild because they don't need them. But then once they're in a captive situation where they're experiencing all different kinds of things that they never would experience before, the notion is that these receptors are now being turned on and the animals are behaving a different way. Now, you walk up to any snake, lizard, turtle in the wild, it's gonna shut down, flee from you in whatever way. But they don't act like that in captivity. After a while, you know, they get used, they know you're gonna feed them, they know you're a positive experience for them. So it's, maybe that's something that's going on there. I have no proof, but
whatever it is, it's a great personality. I love it, honestly. And yeah, you guys are so lucky to have such an amazing animal, and he's lucky to have an amazing place to live. Man, I can't say enough good things about Garden State Tortoise and all the amazing work that they do. I'm jealous. I wish that I could actually make the big difference that they do. Doing the stuff they do with the rehabs and the rehomes and stuff like that, it makes such a big impact. I think we can all learn a lot from these guys and find different ways that we can make impacts too. So if you guys don't already follow them, make sure to give them a follow and give them all the great support. I just love them. They're good friends of mine. And you guys be sure to tell us, what was your favorite rescue story?
Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, there's a playlist that you can watch all kinds of videos. You can also hit that subscription button. It would mean a lot to me. Also, hit that like button while you're down there. Have a wonderful day, Reptile Army. Remember, be kind to someone, and I promise I'll see you in the next one.